Hello everybody, so this video is entitled MSTR Epic Rebound, Manic Depressive Mr. Market in all of its glory, because we have crypto pumping. Anything related to crypto is going up right now because of, as reported by the Kobesi letter, retweeting a tweet from the President of the United States talking about reopening the Strait of Hormuz and talking about, thinking about the situation or thinking about the deal. Apparently, they're having some meeting for the deal. So anyways, as far as I'm concerned, I think this situation is ongoing still. I'm not so sure why the market trades on that, but for some reason, Bitcoin has decided to trade on literally the Middle East. It trades on the Middle East. Saylor had said, it trades on macro. I'm not even sure it trades on macro. If you look at PCE yesterday, we had great PCE. We still dumped. So no, it trades literally on the Middle East, and maybe market makers, maybe the centralized exchanges of the world, maybe they've put their manipulation, they've put their liquidations based on that news, based on that Hormuz news. So this only illustrates the madness of Mr. Market, because yesterday's big drop was entirely unwarranted. It was ridiculous, losing $2,000 in a matter of 50 minutes for no reason whatsoever. To me, this is the pain that we've had in Bitcoin for the past 1 week, I would say, has been manufactured pain. This is manufactured pain. Nothing has changed in the algorithm. Nothing has changed for Bitcoin. Stocks are going up. AI-related stock is going up. If you try to think about Bitcoin critically, Bitcoin is the scarcest asset. And if AI makes everything abundant, then the scarcest asset should go up in value. This would be logic, right? But this is not how this market works. This market over the short and I'm sad to say over the medium term now, like say a 6 months to 18 months period, now has turned into a casino. How many stocks do not react on fundamentals anymore? You really, really need to have an extremely long-term horizon. 4 years plus for Bitcoin, but some starting to say for Bitcoin, really, we should have a 5-year plus horizon for Bitcoin, because the market can stay irrational for a very, very long time, and that is worse than it used to be. Some of the moves we see in some stocks are nonsensical. Yet again today, we see stocks going up 30% in random AI spaces. The value of assets don't move 30% in a day. This is the manic depressive Mr. Market in action that makes them move so much in a day. And in my view, a Bitcoin is not worth $73,000. In my view, a Bitcoin is worth much more than $73,000. And I can tell you, a lot of people who own Bitcoin, there is no way they would let it go for $73K. These are the manipulated prices. This is kind of what I fundamentally believe. Some bullish news that Michael Saylor tweeted, I think, is also worth a quick discussion here, talking about the CFTC guidance. So this was widely expected, right? It's not new news, but I don't think I've ever discussed it on the channel. So if Bitcoin is classified as a foreign future, that means that we could have some regulation over the weekend, because we could get 24/7 trading. And so if we have regulation over weekend trading, that means that we would have no more weekend manipulation. Now, to be fair, it's been a few months where we haven't had weekend manipulation. You may remember, a year ago, every Sunday night, without fail, 7 p.m. US time, roughly, without fail, Bitcoin would drop 1,500. That has stopped a few months ago, and so I think this is setting this in stone, that the weekend manipulation may be gone now. We still have the daily manipulation, the liquidation trigger type manipulation. We still have that going on. That's going to be the Clarity Act, but it's a good thing if we remove bad actors from manipulating the price on the weekend. So this is a pretty big deal. And even bigger deal, of course, is Bitcoin could be used as collateral for a margin loan. Now, of course, the ETFs are already there, right? Strategy is there, right? You can use strategy as a margin loan. So there's ways around it. But for people who own raw crypto, pure crypto, this is actually pretty bullish if you can borrow against your raw Bitcoin, against your real Bitcoin. If you can borrow against it within a TradFi broker, that's a big deal. That's very bullish. Why? And I'll say it like that. A house on which you can put a mortgage is much more valuable than a house on which you can't put a mortgage, right? If you have a house that's half burnt down, it's gonna be selling for a fire sale because a mortgage company cannot give you a loan on it because it's half burnt down. So you gotta fix it up first, right? And so an asset against which you can borrow money is much more valuable than an asset against which you cannot borrow money. And so this is also very bullish for Bitcoin. Although, like I said, there's some loopholes around it. But the idea that you need to be able to borrow against your Bitcoin is an important idea in TradFi, and that will grow the demand for Bitcoin. An asset that is marginable is more valuable than an asset that is not marginable. I'll conclude with Stretch. Stretch, we're still in the valley of despair for Stretch, trading at 99. We're reclaiming 99. That's pretty good. SEDA still on fire. SEDA's ex-dividend date, if I'm not mistaken, is upcoming. Clearly, in my view, I still maintain that there's somewhat of a different dynamic. I think a lot of people use STRC to collect that ex-dividend, and so that explains the lack of euphoria most of the month, and the 3 days before the ex-dividend, we have insane euphoria, absolutely insane euphoria. I think that's kind of a dynamic that we see for Stretch. We'll see if that dynamic remains when we go to bi-monthly, but I've stopped worrying and I've stopped wanting to see Stretch repeg to 100 right away. I've kind of stopped about that because they are able to raise so much, like $1 billion much, on the one day right before the ex-dividend. So do we really need to have it spread evenly across the month? It would make sense. It would be logical. It would be better. But from a math standpoint, we have so much demand the days before we go ex-dividend that from a math standpoint, it ends up being kind of the same. I think a lot of arbitrageurs are going after Stretch, perhaps not in the way they're going after SEDA, definitely not in the way they're going after SEDA when SEDA goes to daily dividend, definitely not. But Stretch might still be there for them. So anyways, this is roughly my commentary here. Pretty big day today, so shorter video. Anyways, this was not investment advice. This is not financial advice. This is only entertainment. I'm hoping you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.